What if Sonic.EXE was in a racing game? Hello boys, girls, people from other worlds. My name is not Star-Punz. I was playing Sonic Cross Worlds and got the idea of, what would that even look like? Let's design it together, shall we? In this part we're going to be discussing the design and lore. Here's a little history lesson. I can see a lot of you can recognize these images. Whether you know the names of them or not is not at all important. You know these images as icons in Americana culture. These symbols derive from Ed Big Daddy Roth, I'm not kidding, a Californian-born cartoon illustrator that displayed the hot rod movement into something more accessible to people around the world, from kids to adults, understanding just the fierce intensity of what is described as a South California custom culture. I think these pieces were the evil seeds planted into the people's subconscious to make these lovable animals into twisted demons sent to conjure hell on earth. They still have a merch shop. You can go over to find their influential cartoons on a shirt. I'll put the link in the description. It's just some fun stuff. This in turn led into the monster driving design that we know of today. And let me just say, I have zero idea how these images were transferred into my mind. They've always been there. I've accepted it as a part of my reality, but I cannot recall where the hell I've seen them before. Like Garfield, big popular icon. Now comment the first time you've ever seen Garfield in your entire life. You can't. So that's where my obvious inspiration for this entire series comes from. That's right, I just want hedgehogs running each other over. Let's stop dawdling while we explore the story of Zone the Zombhog, the Sonic.EXE racer who desired more than speed, but to be free. One day, Sonic was giving chase in one of his adventures, but manages to die and revive at the same time by plummeting to his death in Green Hill Zone, while holding an extra life box. The extra life in question was given to him the moment he died, causing an error of a life. The only way this energy could be moved would be from where it remained, the ground of Green Hill, where he died. This in turn causes Green Hill Zone to manifest into a Sonic clone itself, in which she names herself Zone. Zone is a zombie-like Sonic clone that, unlike other Sonic clones, cannot run, but needs speed to continue living, as it embodies her entire being. Since she's an entire clone of Sonic, she has the same mentality, not in the way Metal Sonic does, but naturalistically. They have the same aspects, the same desires, the same habits. She wants to live the way he does, but can't. And that's where her philosophy for torture comes from. Kind of like Deadpool kills the Marvel Universe, where it asks, if there is no God and if there is no point in life, then what is stopping someone from letting everyone suffer the same way they do? Sonic contrasts that as a way to say, if there is no point, then you have full freedom to be who you are, but Zone takes those chances away. Before making this video, I asked Reddit. Yes, Reddit, don't judge me. You'll all get your TED questions answered there. If it weren't for them, I would have edited with cave paintings and glue some ideas for this concept, and someone named this following part the most important part: motor beings. See, Zone tried. She really did try and find a way to find the relief of speed Sonic has every day without having to lose her sanity. But day to day, her mind started to deteriorate. Anytime she tried to run, her legs would crumble before her, and entire body would split in half. She's made of dirt, anyway. What organs were her right to have anyway? A week, a month, a year goes by. She tries everything, until one day, she finds Sonic and his best friend Tails out and about, running at top speeds. Noticing Tails utilizing, well, his tails. She ponders as to how to obtain such speeds. At this point, she was a zombie with the mind of a genius in engineering, as her mind was indeed fast, while her body was, well, slow. Since that fast mentality kept catching up to her, it could only contribute inside of her mind. And the only logical thing she could think of was, this wasn't fair. It wasn't fair to watch someone else live her life. Why should she settle for less? Why does he get everything she ever wanted? So one night, she lures out Tails using her voice, lying to him that they were going to play hide and seek in the dark, only to then pounce at him, eating his tails right off before dragging him by his feet, thinking the only solution to be as fast as Sonic was to try a few tests in a Mobian power. In Green Hill Zone, imagination is the only limit to what she can construct. She uses the land to stretch and warp Tails' form, telling him it's going to be alright. She just wants him to be faster is all. It's possible to be as fast as Sonic now with her help. Besides, what wouldn't a best friend do? Before I show this, yes, I know this can be interpreted as weird content, okay? I try to make it horrifying, but please, there is no hidden meaning behind this. This is just creepypasta, creepy fuel, okay? I do not like it, if you get what I'm saying, okay? Okay. Once Zone completed her madness opus in creation, Tails had lost all will to live. Every living moment was a breath of agony. His lungs surviving was a curse, and his brain begged for the nightmare to end, but it only got bigger. He began to see other people he knew become motorbikes and engines. The wind was the only way Zone ever regained her sanity, and once she saw what she had done to the sweetest of them all, she knew she couldn't go back. She tried to fix him, she tried, but now that she had the taste of speed she always wanted, even a day without it was agony. She needed the fixation of feeling freedom. She needed more. That's where she gained more in her collection. Knuckles was caught next, only to be followed by Eggman, who actually challenged her first to try and prove himself capable of beating even a mere imitation of Sonic. And he was right. She was nothing like Sonic. She was worse. And where was Sonic this whole time? Considering Zone started a mass apocalypse, it essentially makes Green Hill Zone the heart of the Walking Dead. Sonic was forced into a position of constant fight or flight. He never had time to ask where anyone was because there were people in constant danger. Angel Island was the only place of refuge for anyone left on the planet. Once Sonic finally saved enough people to go into the heart of the Walking Dead, he's met with his own companions and unfortunate foes that have become living engines for the Hedgehog with no speed nor sanity. Sonic was now the fastest thing alive, fighting the fastest dead. I wanted each one to be a specific horror aspect regarding each of the characters, which is what I hope other people design for their cars, some sort of guilt or nightmare for each one. For example, Tails had become the freak that everyone deemed him to be before meeting Sonic, no longer believing in his abilities to make a difference. Knuckles' failure in strength is now reduced to a monster truck forced to watch the suffering he causes to everyone in his path. While Eggman is consumed by his own madness of machines, replaced by the very fiends he believed could have replaced humanity. A reference to his robotification control in some of the Sonic series. Now, this usually would not be possible, but Sonic knows that Zone had managed to warp their forms enough to bring them back, and she makes a deal. If he beats her in a one-on-one race around the world in a number of laps, she will set them free, as this race would harness enough speed in her to live for decades on end. And he cannot break those conditions, or is forced to never see his friends back to health. He agrees. However, with every bet made, the house always wins. As when the Tails Mobile started to chart across the entire globe, they go on for a few hours. Sonic asks her as to how many laps are left, but she simply laughs. Every hour he would ask, then plead, then beg, then yell, then bleed. Every step was just fueling another year into her life, as she had never had such competition of a rush push her to this extreme. This race was never going to end. And she never said it would. She never said any amount of time or laps. This was a deal Sonic could not break. Sonic ends up in a never-ending nightmare, running until the end of time against his own shadow, driving the remains of his friend's brain. But that's my idea, at least. If anyone wants to formulate something at this capacity, at least give me an email to check this out. I also do commissions, so if anyone wants a piece of their EXE driving tails beheaded on Rainbow Road, be my guest. Thank you for listening to my yap session about this so ridiculous idea. Even if it drains me in my life, they're my favorite forms of content. So yeah, all the art in my channel, I love making for you guys. I don't know if you can hear that. The fucking, yeah, there's the firefighters. Yep, they're always out and about. Jam. Did I say jam?